But bro, let's dive in because it's been a wild journey, and so I think there's
Yes.
a few things that we can talk about. But I think the thing I want to dive into first is the fact that you've replaced your income and you've quit your job. So how did that feel, bro? You finally done it. You're out of the job and you're working for yourself.
Yeah. So honestly, this is the goal that I had for such a long time, and obviously I thought that it's going to feel so good, and obviously it felt for a second when I got when I closed like the deal, when I got the invoice paid. But then when I quit, when I basically told them, went to my job, explained the situation, basically told a bunch of bullshit, like basically I had some like private problems, I need to quit. They're like, okay, and it felt great, very good, very great moment, very great, a milestone. But now it's, I need to perform, I need to deliver, obviously, and I have other goals to focus on, like basically building this whole business backend, keep closing people, keep basically running all this stuff. So yeah, but very very great feeling. This gives you this like proof of concept, this freedom, and for a while I felt like a little bit weird, when I was basically walking around like the grocery store and stuff, because I'm like, bro, like all of these people, like are working a job, and I'm like in my pajamas, just doing groceries, and it felt weird for a second, but at the same time, I was like, no, I worked for that. This is what I poured so much energy into this that it was just a matter of time, and I deserve that because I have put so much work into this. So feels great.
Yeah, and bro, you really have put so much work into it, like even just in the time of us working together, we've, brought you back on to one offer, helping you position in, we're helping that offer with one sort of specific person, giving you one sort of workflow. So, how much outreach you're sending, how many DMs you're sending, how many gigs you're applying to, and gave you that like, sort of centralized structure. But even keeping yourself on that is hard in and of itself, right? And why don't you share a little bit about your journey from, going from offering LinkedIn posts to offering this, to offering that to now where you are? Like what was the thing that got you those results compared to those, times where you were struggling?
So the thing that got me results wasn't like, honestly, I wouldn't say it was the business model or what I was offering. It was like basically understanding like who am I going after, what I'm going to like, the value that I'm going to bring in, and just doing like basic everyday KPIs that are going to get me there. So I was basically I try to offer everything. I had a shiny object syndrome, but when it comes to in copywriting, because in copywriting, like you can offer so many things, right? It can be media buying with ads, it can be VSLs, TSLs, like even like full funnel build outs, it can be emails, and I'm even ghostwriting, right? So I just try to have something that I can finally land those deals with. And when I was basically when each time that I hit, like I would say a bottleneck, and I didn't know how, and basically couldn't fix it myself. I had this shiny object syndrome, right? So for example, I was jumping from like emails to emails for ecom, then it was LinkedIn ghostwriting, then it was social media management. Actually, social media management is the thing that I had success with, but it's not because of the social media management specifically. It's more about like, I basically dived in with all the things that you teach us inside the program. I basically dived in, I understood it even more, practiced the skills, and I got it done. So that's basically it.
Bro, I'm so happy because that is the magic that everyone's looking for. Simple scales. Success is, can you do the boring shit day in, day out when everyone else wants new, flashy, exciting tactics and, like secrets? Because those secrets aren't real. The game is like, realistically, if you're a struggling copywriter, the only thing you need to do is book more calls, and so your real bottleneck is booking more calls. So if you're sending outreach, are people opening that outreach? If not, we need to fix your opens. Are people replying to that outreach? If not, we need to fix like, the offer or whatever's at the end of the outreach. Are people jumping on calls with you? Are people saying yes on the calls? Like, it's easy to like measure where those bottlenecks are when you know that, okay, all I have to work on is booking more calls. And then sure, like you said, once you've booked that call, you've closed that deal, and that invoice is paid, then the next path begins to illuminate itself. New bottlenecks pop up, and sure, we can solve those. But the main takeaway and the reason why everyone inside the copy circle has managed to get results is because we're not using some tactic. We're not trying to like, it's not some like like shitty little thing that like secret that's only going to work for so long. And so we've all got to jump on it. It's like, no, these are the fundamentals of making a service-based business work. These are the KPIs that we've seen success with. Can you hit those KPIs week in, week out? If no, why not? What are the areas we need to fix? And if yes, go and do it, And now you're proof in the pudding that it works, bro.
Yeah, and to everybody listening, if you think that this is some another like, if you think that Morgan, for example, has some like secret tactic or magic, it's not really it. I was in that same position as you are, and I was thinking the same thing. Is basically, like why isn't it working? Because I was basically busy up into the game. I felt like, I'm going to send a bunch of, like 100 emails. I'm going to land, like 10 grand deals. I'm going to fuck off, basically do nothing, right? But once you understand it, and once you like really get that there is no magic pill, and you just need to focus day in and day out on, and be clear with yourself, be honest, then it's really just a matter of time. Once you go through this period of really struggling, I would say, and once you improve it, and once you like get all of these things together, it's only a matter of time, and you would be surprised with yourself. Like it feels weird right now because I was telling all of those lies, all of those excuses myself, but now I'm like, bro, like I could, if I just was honest with myself and like real, I could have done that like way earlier, So very, very true.
Yeah, it's so true, bro. And like, look, those crappy little tactics, the magic pills, they're always going to be floating around our industry because it's an industry full of dark lords trying to make money, right? And the funny thing is like when those dark lord shitty tactics do work, they work on crappy clients, and then you don't retain them, and then a month later you're trying to look for a new crappy tactic. But as we've seen with the lads in the copy circle, I mean, you're working with one of the biggest A players within the YouTube automation space. We've got two dudes working for it's Brooke Hiddink, whatever his name is, ecom with Brooke, one of the biggest ecom gurus. One's writing for Jason Wojo, one of the biggest like ad agencies. So it's like the fundamentals work for A players, and A players hang around with A players. So it's like, all of these outreach tactics that keep you on this like crappy flywheel that no one wants to be on, they lead to a life that no copywriter actually wants to live, the feast and famine cycle. Or you go the other way, you do the boring stuff, you figure out your fundamentals, who are you offering your offer to, what is your offer, how does your offer actually help that person, what KPIs are going to get me in front of enough of those people for me to close enough deals to make the money I want to make. You get that maths figured out, you get those fundamentals in place, we build your sales assets, and then it is just hit the KPI. So I'm really happy that the same's happened for you, bro, because like I said, it is just proof in the pudding, and it silences all of that shit in the market so that people can just stay focused on the fundamentals.
Yeah. Yeah. And once you get it, then if, for example, when you are scrolling Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, then you can just basically read through the bullshit all the gurus are selling.
Exactly.
This was one of the like uh things that I like started to see after like when it all started came together. Like I just started seeing the gaps, and I'm like, I once like basically fell for that as well, but it changed now, so I really don't care. But once you've got like some experience in the game, like the reps in, then you can like really like get the gist of it. Like this is what I would say.
100%, bro. And look, that's why like my goal with the copy circle is to make it the last like coaching, mastermind, mentorship, whatever you want to call it, the last program that you need for all of your fundamentals, right? So you've got, like I've given you fulfillment boards. So when you actually land a client, you know what to do, you know how to manage the client, you can manage multiple clients at once. You've got the outreach, you've got the CV, you've got the sales assets, you've got the mindset, you've got all of the systems and processes you need so that you don't have to ever get tricked into thinking you need this new magic shiny thing, because you got a way of finding clients, you got a way of closing clients, you got a way of managing clients, you got a way of upselling clients and turning that one client into more clients. It's like there you go. Like now it's like you're like a bird that can fly now. It's like, here, leave the nest, go fly, do what you want. Like I
Yeah.
think that's the really cool part personally.
Yeah, and it's all up to you, because I'm sure there are going to be like people that can basically join still even this program, right? Right, the Copy Circle have everything like basically laid out in front of them, and if they still like can't like get out of their comfort zone and basically like be real with themselves, as like I said before, then nothing can save them basically. Then all they want to really do, they like the idea of being a copywriter and stuff, but when it comes to putting actually the work, that they don't like it. So this is like one of the biggest differences is you know um you have all the stuff laid out in front of you, and then it's just a matter of time if you really are honest with yourself, if you really digest all the like the programs, the modules, and if you stop the bullshit literally, then it's all going to come to you, like because this is what happened. I was in so much pain before, like didn't know what to do, jumping from thing to thing, but I was like, once I took the risk, I joined, and I was basically like how do we say it, like uh my back was behind the wall, and I had to pull it off. It happened, so take this leap of faith because it's going to work. It's going to work, trust me.
That's it, bro. Same happened for me, right? Like we were talking a bit before we started recording about how like some people get results quicker than others, some people take years, some people this. But it's like, realistically, for me, like I spent high ticket coaching money in my first couple years because I knew that if I put that money on the line, I would fucking work to make it happen. Whereas when I was just in low ticket groups, you're spending your £50 a month, it's easy to get lost in the analysis paralysis, working on everything that you think makes you feel busy, but isn't actually moving the needle. So realistically, the real difference is putting yourself in a position where you have to work. And it's like for anyone listening to this, there's a thousand copywriting coaches you can go work with. Okay, the information in most mentorships are going to be similar. If it's good fundamentals, it's good foundations. They're going to be similar, right? Copywriting is copywriting. Closing clients is closing clients. There's no different way. It's like, sure, there's different ways for different people, but like the foundations are going to be similar. And so I think the most important thing is, do you resonate with the coach? Could you like go to a coffee shop and have a coffee with them? Could you go like to a bar and have a beer with them? Because this is someone you're going to be working very closely with, and they're going to be like very like involved with your life. Like Bruno, how many times have I called you out on some shit? How many times do I have to pull you up? How many times do I have to say like, nah, this is nothing to do with copy, this is your ego? It's like it's not easy to have those conversations, but often it's those conversations that actually move the needle.
Yeah, very, very true. This is honestly this daily accountability and access to you in our private WhatsApp chat is was actually the biggest thing that got me to the place that I'm at right now. It wasn't like really the outreach message, the outreach principles, the copy skills, no copy skills as well, but you basically have to have this like person next to you that is have this mentor, this coach that is above you that have basically walked the walk before you, so he can all the time like basically basically see through all the excuses and bullshit that you're telling yourself and call you out. If you have like basically if you drop down your ego and you are willing to go through that, and if you're honest with yourself, this was the biggest game changer for me, honestly. Because then I'm like, fuck, like I have been doing this thing for so much long already. I have no results, just $200 for one deal, and I'm like, like fuck, he's right. Let me change something here. And it worked. So yeah, it's very very true, very very true.
Yeah, and bro, I love that example as well because again, that's just like a fundamental foundation. It's not something specific to copy. Like if you're skinny, you want to get big in the gym, you go ask someone that's bigger than you how to lift weights and how to eat. Like I watched a video of a trader, on one of the big trading floors, I think in either London or America, but a big like hedge fund trader, and he's like, I can be the best in the world at anything. All I need is time and repetition. If I want to be better than Tiger Woods at golf, I can be better than Tiger Woods at golf. If I want to be the best at playing piano in the world, I can be the best at playing the piano in the world. The difference is you have to put that ego down, go seek someone that's already done it, and know that it's going to take some time and repetition. So I think it's awesome that that's how you've seen this work. It isn't some random stroke of luck. You can repeat this, we can scale this. It's proven to your mind now as well. So on those hard days, you can be like, well, no, I've got proof, so I can carry on. So yeah, it's fucking awesome, bro. But I think last thing that I'd love to get from you, bro, is what would you say to someone on the fence of joining the copy circle? Someone that was in your position, what, 4 months ago ish. What would you say to that dude?
What would I say? Um, I would say that it can sound like what everybody says, but what I have like experienced in my life and all this stuff, it's all of the things that you're experiencing. Basically, uh, how do I want to say this? Like, why I joined this program because I was like, I knew that I'm going to be fucked if I don't have the results now. If I'm not going to pull this off, I'm fucked. So, and if I join, like basically I'm into that as well. But then I have like basically somebody next to me that is going to tell me what to do. And if I shut up and just work and listen and be coachable, then I know that it's going to work and I'm going to pull it off, right? So I would say it really depends on what you are going through, like your private life, what are your values. But if you are scared of taking this next step, for example, you don't have the money for the program and stuff. Listen, I didn't as well. I basically paid with the money that I invested the money that I didn't have, and you just need to fucking send it. Like I know it can sound corny and stuff, but take it from me. Like I didn't have any experience before. Obviously, you can, but if you see that there is this trajectory that you don't know what to do, you're basically too much in your head. You think that you're working on something, but you are really not. You are just procrastinating, feeling like you are doing something. Then like you just need to fucking send it. And this is the truth. I was like, fuck, I can't stand this anymore. Like, okay, fuck it. Like, I will figure this shit out. Be a man. And if you're going to pull this off, and also you have heard, you have seen so many stories already like that. People who invested the money that they didn't have, that they basically put everything on the line, and now they're living the life that you are aspiring to live as well. Your dream life. So I was like, I'm fine either way. So let's fuck it. Let's roll and let's get this shit done. And this will happen. So this is what I would say. Based on my like experiences and all this stuff. I just with the goals that I had in my mind. I was like, fuck it. Just like all in God's hands. So that's what I would say, honestly.
I love that, bro. Honestly, it reminds me, I think it was a Tony Robbins quote where he's like, you won't change until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. And it's so true, bro. And like sometimes you got to put yourself in that position where, like I said, backs against the wall, you're taking a huge risk. We were speaking about this before the recording. Like the first mentorships I invested in, that was loaned money. I was asking for money from my parents. I was asking it from whoever would fucking give it to me. But I think like that has to come with this almost delusional self-belief. Like you knew you were going to make it back. And so you believed in yourself. I knew I was going to make it back. And so I believed in myself. So if you're watching this and you're on the fence, if you believe in yourself, there's no reason why we can't make this work. We've got all the resources, the templates, the outreach, so whatever it is you need, we've got. What you really need is to take that leap of faith, put yourself in a position where you're going to actually work and take action. And then there's no reason why you can't work. It's just a matter of like, if not when, sorry. Yeah. Well, what I mean? When it's going to happen, essentially, it's just time. So yeah, I appreciate you jumping on here, Bruno. It's good to catch up, brother. I appreciate you taking the time, and let's keep fucking smashing it and scaling.
Let's roll it. Let's keep rolling. Let's get it.